Good afternoon, everyone. Now, before I start with a small discussion that I'm going to take with you, how exactly do you understand the essay paper? What exactly you're supposed to be doing? How you prepare? How you write? Before I do all of that, let me first understand who you people are. How many of you are from the current batches? These are batches. Oh, that's a lot of you. How many of you are from have given the prelims this year and hoping to pass also? Hopefully, hoping to pass. If you're hoping to pass, if you've given the prelims, passing the prelims, what is the cutoff for the prelims this year? Roughly, what is it expected to be? 63, 68, 71. Anyone who's telling you that the cutoff is going to be 74, 75, 78, probably is trying to talk very politely to you, because given the emails that I've got from some students, most of these students are saying, this is one boy, that's the highest that I remember from the emails, who is writing that I'm getting 124 marks. Another student has written 119 or 118 marks. And these are, and others also, 104, 102, 99. Last year's cutoff was 92.07. This year, even if I assume that the paper was a little more difficult, it was not more difficult, it was not very different. Even if I assume that, the cutoff will go down by 2, 3, maximum 4 marks. Realistically speaking, the cutoff could be anywhere between 85 to 90 if it comes down. But that is not in our control. What is in your control is that hoping right now that you're passing the prelims, how will you prepare for the mains? And prepare for the mains with the kind of orientation that you pass the mains with a healthy margin at about 190 from your interview, get a good rank, get a good service. Now, one paper where most students, and let me write that word here, most students have a casual approach, right till the last moment, is the essay paper. And what do you mean by a casual approach? That number one, most students have not given it any attention till after the prelims. Number two, those students who have written also, even if they've written an essay, they've written it in a very unstructured manner, in a very careless manner, with just one intention, that for 1.5 hours, when I sit down with an essay, 1.5 hours, am I able to write something or the other? Can I understand something about the topic? Can I write something or the other on paper? And third, why do we call this a casual approach? Because nobody, or at least nobody who I can depend upon, who's reliable, has evaluated what they've written. Mostly, what do? I will share my essay with my friend. He'll share some comments. He'll tell me over here or there, here you could have talked about India's foreign exchange crisis in the 1990s. Someone will say, here you would have talked about the Green Revolution. It gives me a vague idea, rough idea what I'm supposed to be doing. But what exactly I will do on the day of the exam, I'm still not very certain. And as the days start coming closer, today is the 27th of May, mains are starting on 24th August. I don't know, I think roughly 24th August. We have left roughly 3 months in which you have to prepare. Optional has to be done, 4 GS papers have to be done, 2 language papers, some time I'll have to spend on them. As a result, at this stage, most of the students are not able to give it the attention, the time that it deserves. Which is why, before I explain to you, now, some of you over here are from the current batches. What about you people? Where are you from? This year's batch, last year's batch, given the prelims, not given the prelims? These online students? I have the R5 batch, current batch, P21, R9. R9, that's very, very decent. Given the prelims, P2, P1, P4. P4, then please write P1, please write passing the prelims. Write that also along with that, given the prelims for the first time. I hope your prelims went all well. I hope you pass. If you want to clear the mains with a good score, with a comfortable score, in the essay paper, the minimum score that you should be aiming for is 125. If I was talking to you in 2023, just 3 years back, at that time, students were able to get a score of 140, 150, 158 in the essay paper. Last 2 years, 2025, 2024, most students who are getting a rank in the top 10 will get a score between 105 and 115 in the essay paper. The evaluation has become a little more strict. They are more careful about what you're writing now. Now, to understand what you do, let me first tell you where exactly and what exactly are the mistakes that students make. By the way, this is the essay paper from last year. And when I say that students have a casual approach towards it, I don't know how long you've been studying for this exam. But even students who've been studying for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, many students would have not even seen these topics once. And even if they've seen these topics, they do not know what to write about it. Some of you I remember, because I've taken your classes very, very recently in the GS batch. Let me look at the first topic here. Truth knows no color. If I took a class with you recently, there was one discussion on laws, rules and regulations where I said that there is something called a white lie. A lie has a color. Truth knows no color. Question is, what does this mean to you? And what will you write in 1200 words? When you people write an answer in GS 1, 2, 3, 4 or in your optional paper, what is the length of your answer? 150 to 250 words. An essay is 1200 words long. You people are given 14 pages in which you have to fill up your essay. So in 14 pages, without repeating yourself, do you think you'll be, without repeating yourself, do you think you'll be able to write something that is good and something that actually resonates, connects with the examiner? Similarly, if I say muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Right before your class, I met this one boy. He's from IIT Delhi. Gave the mains, last year was his second mains, but he did not clear. And he said, sir, essay I got only 99 marks. Can you tell me what exactly I should be doing? I showed him this same slide and I asked him, which ones did you choose? Section A, he had written the fourth topic. Best lessons are learned from bitter experiences. Second one, he had written the first topic. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Now, if I leave, what do you mean by muddy water? Something that is problematic, something that is complex, something that you're not sure of. Should I address this problem or should I leave this problem completely? Some people will say that if you do not try to address the problem, it will become worse in the future. And some people will say that there are situations, there are circumstances where your interference, where your intervention will make matters worse rather than improving them. Which of these two you would write? Your selection itself, if it is not right, your entire essay will go off track. Now, here at Vajiram, what will students do? GS batches like yours. Students write something, they give it to me for evaluation, I check, and I give them, let's say, 40 out of 125, 45 out of 125. They know it's not a good score. So standing next to me, when I give the sheet back, what do they say? They say that, no sir, this is not what I wanted to say. This is the point I wanted to make. This is what I was trying to explain here. I cannot give you marks on the basis of what you were thinking. I can give you marks on the basis of what is written in front of me, which I can understand. The more effort the reader has to put in to understand what you're saying, the lesser are the marks that the person is going to give you. If after studying for a year, especially students who've given their prelims, if after studying for 1 year, you cannot choose 2 topics from here where you think you can write something sensible, then the simple question to think about is, how have you prepared for this paper, 250 full marks, in the last 1 year? Many students, why do they struggle to, it's a very simple paper, it's not very demanding, but many students, why do they struggle to get marks and why do they get poor marks? By the way, what are poor marks? Anything less than 95. 95 or less than 95 will not be considered average. It will be considered a poor score in the essay paper and it will severely compromise your attempt of that year. First, most common problem with students is that they are not able to create an impression on the reader. When you write your introduction, please remember your GS answers are 2 pages long. Essay is 14 pages. Even reading 2 pages of someone's answer requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of attention. And if what you're writing seems to be very repetitive, seems to be very common, seems to be very dull, the person will not read with interest and invariably right in the beginning will have, will have a slight bit of a bias against you. In simple English, we say first impression often can be the last impression. When you start, this is your first paper in the mains. If this goes off well, whoever you are as a student, you feel a little more positive, little more optimistic regarding your attempt. Let me also show you what I mean. See, when students are writing their mains, they must be intelligent. If they've passed the prelims, they have put in a lot of effort. Despite all that effort, they do not know how exactly to approach a writing exercise. Let me give you one small example here. What we call a poor introduction, a poor start, or a poor first impression. Now, this is some student from last year's batch. The topic that was given to these people was this one here. Those who have a why to live for can bear any how. Those who have a why to live for can bear any how. What does that mean? That if you have, what does why signify over here? Your objective, your passion, whatever you're trying to achieve, your goal, your purpose. And what do you mean by why? By how? Any difficulty, any failure, any setback, any challenge, any tragedy. If your objective is very strong, is very clear to you, if you really believe in it, you will be able to overcome any difficulty, any challenge that you're facing. If I look at people like you, what are the hows that you people are facing? What are the problems you people are facing? Number one, you are eating very bad food far away from your families. Number two, Delhi is an expensive city. Number three, landlords trouble you. Number four, the stress of the exam. Number five, the worry that I am sitting here reading NCERT textbooks, but my classmate from college has got his first job, has been working for 6 months, and has finally started saving some money. Whereas I am still not sure when I will become financially secure, financially stable. Many different thoughts go on through the minds of these students. But when you have a clear why, what is your clear why? This boy says that no matter what, I want to represent India at a global stage. I have to get into the foreign service. There is no two ways about it. I have to clear this exam. That girl says that no matter what, I have to wear a khaki uniform. I want to get into the IPS. When your why is strong, any difficulty, any problem that you face, you will be able to overcome. This boy, 2 attempts, the one I just met, 2 attempts, 2 mains, IIT Delhi, computer science engineering, but he is willing to give a 3rd attempt. Why? Because for him it is very clear that he has to clear this exam. Now, these kind of examples about students, I can give you people inside the classroom because I'm trying to explain something. You can't write this in the exam. Now, this boy whose script I'm showing you, this is what he has written. And I'll read it out here with you slowly. He says, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on the 2nd of October 1869 into the family of the Diwan of Gujarat. Being from a well-off family, he decided to pursue law, for which he went to England. After completing his law degree, he thought of practicing law in British India. Incidentally, he went to South Africa, where he found discrimination based on race. When he was traveling in a train, some white men pushed him out of the train due to his race. This incident shocked Gandhi's conscience. He introspected the reason behind the incident, why this happened with him. Till here, why this happened with him, I have come till here. I have read 1 page of your handwriting. I have read 1 page of your first paragraph, first essay, where your exam started. So far, I have no idea how you are writing something related to this topic. This information that is written here, a student of class 8th and 9th is taught in school itself. Who is Mahatma Gandhi? When was he born? What was his family? Why did he go to South Africa? Everyone knows. What do I need to learn from you? There are many incidents from Gandhi's life. You want to talk about the train incident? Then please start with that. Say that the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had a pivotal turning point in his life when he was thrown out of a train for not being white. I don't have the time or the patience, I being the evaluator, don't have the time and the patience to keep reading sentence after sentence and try to connect how what you're writing is connected to the topic. This boy's paragraph, the paragraph is not over. I'm just showing you 2 pages. His paragraph will go to the 3rd page also. And by the end of the 3rd page, finally, he will write. He will say that Gandhi, what was his why? Independence for India. What is the how? That he was imprisoned multiple times. He faced persecution at the hands of the British. He had to face opposition from his own friends, such as Subhash Chandra Bose, because they believed that Ahimsa would not get India independence. He will write that. I don't have the patience to wait for so long. And I am still teaching you over here. Imagine the evaluator sitting in the UPSC who has zero accountability. I won't say this is the wrong paragraph. I'll certainly say that you were not able to create an impression. Who can create an impression? Same batch, same test, same set of students. This is a girl now. Same topic she's written on, same test she's written during. I have taught them, I gave them the content, I told them what to do. But now look at what she has written. Same topic. Now she starts by saying that there was once a man who cheated death. I've just read this much. And the moment I read this much, what is the thought in my mind? That when you are saying that someone has cheated death, and not just once, twice, I'm immediately thinking, who has cheated death? Whoever I am as a reader, you could be a student, you could be an evaluator. Immediately I'm thinking, who is this person? I want to know. Last paragraph, you're telling me facts about Gandhi. He was born on 2nd October. What is 2nd October in India? We're saying dry day. No, national holiday. It is Gandhi Jayanti. Everyone knows that. Here, on the other hand, you're actually capturing my interest. According to Greek mythology, Sisyphus was the king of Corinth. After tricking the god of death, he was condemned to punishment for eternity. It was not torture or hellfire, but futility. He was condemned to roll a massive stone up a hill. The moment he would reach the top of the hill, the stone would roll back again to the bottom. Sisyphus had to walk to the bottom of the mountain, roll it up again, and this you are supposed to do till the end of your life. This is what she starts with. Then she says, millennia later, thousands of years later, Albert Camus reimagined this myth of helplessness and futility. He said that we must imagine Sisyphus to be happy. Although he's just rolling a stone up and down, we must imagine him to be happy. Why? Because that was his why. What is the why? That no matter what you're doing, try to find happiness, try to find contentment. Otherwise, very soon, your motivation levels will drop. She says that in the modern age, each one of us is a Sisyphus. We battle everyday responsibilities, jobs, deadlines, loans, exams, but we choose to do it the very next day also. Every single day is the same routine. Get up, read the newspaper, come to Vajiram, attend the class. Every single day. Our why is to choose to live fully and embrace the absurdity of life. In the ethics classes, some of you ask that if a person does good, or people who have not even, small children, helpless animals, why do they have to suffer? And I think this sentence explains it. What is the why? To choose to live life fully and embrace the absurdity of life. In doing so, we transcend troublesome house like tedium, despair and isolation and so on. And a paragraph will get over immediately after this page. Without explaining anything, without saying anything, simple question for you is, if these two paragraphs are given to an evaluator, who do you think will get more marks, this student or the other student? I think without thinking much, the answer is right in front of you. Same course, same teacher, same content, same test, everything is identical. Why is there a difference? Because many students make the mistake of thinking that even if I do the bare minimum, some marks I will definitely get. But those marks, the first student, if I had to give him marks, I'll give him probably 4 out of 10. And this girl, I'll give her 6 out of 10. Difference does not seem too big. But when you look at it over the course of an entire exam, the difference is enough to ensure that one person gets a rank in the top 50, another person is struggling to get a rank in the top 500 also. If at all, they do justice to their papers. First problem with many students is that very often they are not able to create an impression with the content, with the books, with the knowledge that they have. Second problem, which is even more severe, many students do not have good content. Many students do not have a smooth flow when they are writing. Any such topic, if I say those who have a why to live for can bear anyhow, I'll explain this to you in about 1 hour. I'll give you some work. In about 30 minutes, I'll give you some work. And when I give you the work, you'll realize, I'll show you inside the class, how students say the same thing using different language. They think that they're saying something new. In reality, they're repeating the same point over and over again. And if there is no diversity in what you're saying, if your content is repetitive, unfortunately, we cannot give you marks. Third, this is a major see, 2 papers in your exam are very closely linked, the ethics paper and the essay paper. Essay topics that were asked in 1998, 2003, 2005 have been used in the ethics paper in that section where you are given quotes. Quotes that have been used in the ethics paper in 2014, 2016 have been used in the future as essay topics. Both these papers have one fundamental requirement: you need to write. The more you write, the more frequently you write, the better you will become. Now, many students, what do? They treat GS4 like GS1, 2, 3. They treat essay also exactly like that. Their friends, some teachers, some people here and there will tell them that if you're reading the newspapers regularly, if you are paying attention to your GS studies, you will be able to do well. Your optional will help you in essay. That's what people tell you. As a result, when these students try to write an essay, what do? They dump information in the paper. They will give a lot of examples. They will give a lot of data. They will quote constitutional articles. That is correct. They fail to create a storyline. You are not writing a long GS answer. You are writing an essay where fundamentally it is a test of your expression. Students ask that, sir, can I write in bullet points? Can I make small diagrams in the essay? The answer is no. Why? Because first and most importantly, it also tests your ability to write, your ability to express yourself. And to understand what this difference is, and that's why, especially if you're one of these new batches, the R batches, I would sincerely advise you, start taking time, start putting in time, through which you start focusing on the essay paper also a little early in your preparation. Now, if you compare essay with your GS papers or your optional papers, there is a significant difference in the way you are supposed to write your answers. Now, since I have taught many of you ethics also, as an example, let me just use the ethics paper. In the ethics paper, when you write an answer, in the introduction, what are you supposed to do? In the introduction, briefly, you describe the terms. In an essay, on the other hand, what do you do? I hope you've understood it now. The introduction of your essay is expected to capture the attention of the reader, to captivate that person, to get him interested in reading whatever you've written in the next 12, 13 pages. In the ethics answers, what are you supposed to write? Currently, especially for these new students, I told you people write 3 points. But by the time you finish your prelims, I will have to tell you, 3 will not be enough. You will need 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 points per answer. And each of them should be accompanied by an example. On the other hand, in the essay, what do you need? Multiple paragraphs with diverse and sensible content. In an ethics answer, what is the length of your point? 20-25 words. In an essay, what is the length of a paragraph? 100 to 150 words. What you people write as your entire ethics answer, one full ethics answer, will roughly become one paragraph when you write your essay. In GS 1, 2, 3, 4, history, geography, polity, ethics also, you just have to mention the point. But in an essay, just mentioning the point is not enough. You have to elaborate the point and you have to connect it with the topic. Connection with the topic, hold on for about 4 minutes. You will understand this better over there. In GS, explanations are not needed. The word limit is so small, 150, 250 words, that you write 5, 6 sensible points, that itself will get you marks. But in an essay, you need in-depth explanation of every point, every example that you are writing. These differences, however, students usually don't understand. They understand them after their first mains is done. In the essay courses that I take here, many of the students who come, they come and tell me that, sir, this is going to be my second mains. I did not get good marks earlier and I wanted to ask you what I should do now. But if you've written one mains, even if you didn't clear, if you've written one mains, why are you coming here? Because these problems, these differences, they realize when they write their mains. Let me take one small example here to explain this slightly differently to you. Like I said, a statement that can be used as an ethics question can also become an essay topic. One such statement I'm taking over here: the simplest act of kindness are far more powerful than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. And let me start with a simple work. Let's say I'm writing an ethics answer. In an ethics answer, what do I know? Or what do I need? I need multiple points, brief points with simple examples. And let's say here, I choose to write my points on 3 different levels. Number 1, at an individual level. Number 2, at an organizational level. And number 3, at the level of society. Now, whether you write an essay or whether you write an ethics answer, it is very important that you address what the question is asking. What am I asking you? That instead of praying for someone or just praying for someone, do something kind which actually will help their lives. So here what do I write? That when individuals act kindly, instead of just praying, it can give relief to millions. And whose example will I give you here? Briefly, Mother Teresa, that she did not just pray, she was a nun. But she did not just pray, she actually took a small step by starting the missionaries of charity, which provides care to millions of people across the world. Number 2, when organizations act kindly, what does that do? When organizations act kindly, it will help people get a dignified livelihood or get dignified employment. And whose example will I give you here? Costa Coffee. Has any one of you ever been to Costa Coffee? Doesn't matter. Next time you see an outlet, even if you're not going in, when you're crossing by, just look in carefully and notice the staff who are working there. If you look at them carefully, you'll realize that many of them suffer physical disabilities. Most commonly, most of the people who serve in Costa Coffee have a hearing disability. What percentage of India's population suffers one sort of disability or the other? A little more than 2%. And if this 2% is not given the right to get equality in economic opportunities, economic affairs, no matter how much you pray for them, it will not make any difference to their lives. And when Costa Coffee employs them as front-end staff, what are you doing? This small act of kindness is far more powerful than any prayer that you can undertake. At a societal level, what example will I give you here? The example of community kitchens. When society comes together, when society performs a small act of kindness, you can even overcome a pandemic. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have many places of worship in India from different religions which are massive. They have the ability to cook food for tens of thousands of people on a daily basis. You think about temples, mosques, gurudwara, churches. But during the COVID pandemic, small community kitchens, running in localities like Rajendra Nagar, these community kitchens did more for migrants who were walking across the country than any of these places of worship. Now, this is an ethics answer. How many points have I written here? 3. What is the length of each point? On average, each point must be 20-25 words, roughly 20-25 words. If I get the same sentence as an essay topic, my content will not vary. That's why I say there's an overlap between the two papers. My content does not need to vary significantly, but yes, the way I express my content will certainly be different. Let me take the first example here, Mother Teresa. Same statement is given to me as an essay topic, and I decide to write one paragraph on Mother Teresa. So here now what will I write? I will say, you're talking about kindness, so I will say that kindness requires compassion. Why? Because compassion is the basis of all morality. Students come and say that, sir, when I'm writing an essay, can I use quotes? In the introduction, can I write a quote? And I really have to struggle hard to explain to the students that yes, you can write a quote, but a quote is 10 words long, 15 words long. In the rest of your introduction, what will you write? I can't just write one quote and say that it's relevant to the topic, my work is done. On the other hand, this part that I've just written in blue, first sentence, this is a quote, which I'm using in the middle of one half of a sentence. Now, why does kindness require compassion? Because compassion can be more powerful than prayer, and it can assist, it can create humanitarian aid at a global level. Many people refrain from kindness because of the bystander effect. What is the bystander effect? This is what you people learn in ethics also, that very often our behavior, our decision making is influenced by the behavior of people around me. If I see that other people are not doing the right thing, if I see that other people are not helping out, high probability, I also, like a bystander, will not take any decision there. Now, if most people don't help others because of the bystander effect, what is required? That you remember what we call the golden rule or the categorical imperative. Do for others what you expect others to do for you. And an outstanding example in this regard is Mother Teresa. Now, this broadly is the structure. Paragraph is not important, skip that. Now understand what I need to explain to you here. Why you people are not able to write properly. First problem that many students face is that when they write, many of these GS students every now and then come and show me an essay. They say, sir, can you go through it? What happens? They've seen, in fact, my videos also, they've seen on YouTube. They know examples from there. But when I read their essay, it is a list of one example after the other. There is no thought. There is no argument behind it. How do you create an argument? By using some academic content. What academic content am I using here? At least two terms I've added. Number one, the bystander effect. And number two, the golden rule. If it is just a collection of examples, beyond a point, nobody will be able to give you marks. You will get roughly somewhere between 40 to 45% marks. Number two, second thing that you need to understand. First, academic content. Number two, when you're writing an essay, please address the topic. Please reinforce the topic. In the essay course, students sit down, they write I give them work, they write an entire paragraph. Let's say I ask them to write a paragraph on this topic. When they've written, I ask them one small question, that in the paragraph you've written, somewhere will you be able to find the word kindness? Will I be able to see the word prayer? Will I be able to see the word simplest? And if I can't see them, I don't know which topic you are writing on. You're writing general information, correct information, but general information which I don't know how it is connected to the topic. So over here, I've underlined 3 parts. Why am I writing this sentence here? That many people refrain from kindness? Because I need to address the topic. Here when I say that people pray for others but do not act, why am I writing that? Because I need to address the topic. Here when I say that Mother Teresa chose to not just pray for the people to relieve their distress, but to perform an act of kindness, why am I writing that? Because I need to address the topic. Students write, they finish off writing, even if they write Mother Teresa for this topic, it's correct. But I'm not really sure how you're connecting it to the topic itself. Similarly, now this is Mother Teresa. Let's say I want to write one more paragraph, Costa Coffee. Costa Coffee, what will I write? Now, previous paragraph, I was talking about kindness, I was talking about Mother Teresa, I was talking about compassion. Always ensure a flow in your essay. And how do you ensure a flow? Here I say, Mother Teresa was helping millions of people, is helping millions of people through missionaries of charity. But millions of people also need similar kindness in everyday economic activities. Economic development cannot be only about transforming economies. Equally importantly, more importantly, I would say, it is also about transforming the lives of the people. And here I add that address to the topic that this requires regular acts of kindness towards those people who are systemically deprived of gainful employment. Why do I need to write regular acts of kindness? Again, to address the topic. Then I give you the fact that I was sharing with you some time back, that 2.1% of India's population suffers from disabilities and is often denied equality of opportunity in economic affairs. A simple act of kindness can achieve much more than merely praying for them. Why have I written this sentence? Again, topic. And that is exactly what Costa Coffee has been doing since 2007 by providing mainstream employment to people who are suffering one form of disability or the other. And the rest of the example you already know. See, when you people come here, see, a student comes to me, this boy shows me an essay. He says that my first essay, please check it. I will check it also. How much will I give him? First essay, not very well written. I'll give him 40 out of 125. Now, what do I expect? When I check your essay, I will have to write comments. I'll have to cross something. I'll have to circle something. I expect that the student will go back home, go through the feedback carefully, checking that feedback or going through that feedback, will write one more essay where these recommendations have been taken care of, where he works on the suggestions. But most students, what do? They feel so discouraged looking at that 40. I can't give you more than 40. You don't deserve it. But they get so discouraged, they don't write a second time. As a result, what happens? The same things that they were writing 3 months back, they're writing even now. Next time, instead of coming to me, he will go to his roommate who wrote the mains last year, or will go to some other person here or there. A very easy way of getting popularity from students is by making things simple for them. You write trash also, you write utter trash also, I give you high marks. What will happen? You will start liking me. When will you actually dislike me? When you're sitting in the exam hall. Alright, which is why minor changes, minor modifications, but keep them in mind, because when you're writing an essay, it is not just about dumping facts. More importantly, it is about creating a narrative. It is about creating a storyline. Fourth, why are students again not able to get a good score in this paper? Because they do not address the topic. And here, hopefully, those sentences that I was showing you, hopefully you understand how I say that the topic has to be repeated, has to be reinforced, has to be addressed on a regular basis. And fifth and finally, because many people have a casual approach. All year long, I don't know which batch you people are, maybe some of you are R1, some of you are R2. If you're R1, you started on 17th November last year. If you're R2, you people started on 15th December last year. If you're R3, you started on 31st January. Even if you're R3, you've been here preparing for this exam for about 4 months. In the last 4 months, it's a full 250 mark paper. what preparation have you done on your own? The last 5 years, PYQs itself, have you seen from somewhere? Have you written some examples down? And if you're not doing that, next year, all of a sudden after the prelims, how do you expect to prepare? Somewhere or the other, you will still be able to prepare. Question more importantly is, can that preparation, can those marks be better? And that's exactly the purpose behind this exercise. Please start as early as you can. Now, these are some reasons why, in fact, I'll just go forward in a minute. Till here first, is everyone clear? Any doubt, any confusion, any question in your mind? Clear, including these online people? Fine. Number two, now these are some problems that students have. Why do students take the essay paper casually? These are some common misconceptions that students have. First, most commonly, that my GS preparation, my optional preparation will help. I don't know what optional you have. I don't know how good or bad that optional is, and I won't even get into that. But please remember, even if there's a topic which comes directly, in fact, just allow me one moment. Let me go back to 2025. This first topic, truth knows no color. Which optional is this topic from? If I say number 2, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting, can I say this seems to have some sort of a correlation with IR or with Pol Science? But can you write 7 or 8 paragraphs in the essay talking to me about North Korea and South Korea, talking about Israel and Palestine, talking about Syria, talking about Iraq, India, Pakistan, India, China? How many times will you repeat conflicts? And if you just repeat conflicts, you're just changing the geographic location, what will I say? That your essay is one-dimensional. It is repeating the same theme again and again. And I'm sorry, I can't give you marks. Third example, thought finds a world and creates one also. Which optional is this from? Now when students see what happens when we are thinking about something and we have a bias, whatever I know or whatever is easy for me, I try to plant it and I try to attach it with every single topic. But when you look at it, when you step back 2 feet and when you look at it again, you realize that whatever I know will give me one definitely. In each of these topics, your optional might give you 1 or 2 paragraphs to write. But more than 2 paragraphs, if you write from that one particular subject, your essay will become repetitive. Students also say, yes, this is also a very big misconception, that my GS reading, my daily newspaper reading will help me. Newspaper reading I was going to explain to you later. Let me explain it here. Many students say that, sir, if I have a regular reading habit, I read my newspaper carefully, I make daily notes, I think that should help me in writing an essay. Let me put that also in a slightly simple manner for you to understand. If you read the newspaper on a daily basis, what is the problem? Number 1, there's an information overload. Second, which is a bigger problem, the information is not organized. If you want to organize it, you need to study your newspaper, not read, study it daily, and then sort out, organize the information on a daily basis. Simultaneously, the question in my mind also would be, which of this information is useful for the ethics paper, for the essay paper? Economics I can identify, go to the end of the paper. Environment and ecology I can identify. Which one will be relevant, useful in the essay or the ethics paper? How do I use it? Even if it is useful, how do I use it? And what I say to you in ethics very frequently, whatever you are writing, whatever you are adding in your answers should not be controversial. Now, to explain this point, why merely reading newspapers is not enough. On the day of the prelims, I click photographs of 2 articles and of course, I underline the important parts, the way we read articles. There's one article about Marco Rubio attending or going to the Missionaries of Charity in Calcutta. Now, the moment I saw Missionaries of Charity, in my mind, suddenly what am I thinking? That yes, this will be helpful in ethics also, in essay also. Now, this is the entire article. When I was reading, important parts I think that I could underline were here, here and here. The rest of it is just telling us where he has come from, who received him, who did he meet, what did they say and all that. This part I cannot include. This part I will have to delete from my preparation for this exam. Why? Because it is very critical about the FCRA. These 2 parts I have understood. There is someone called Mother Teresa. I remembered suddenly she has something called Missionaries of Charity. And I realized that yes, any question you ask me on ethics, 10 questions that ask at least 3 questions, Mother Teresa's example will be perfect. But what is the example? What is the data? What do I write? In contrast, in GS we tell you that when you read your papers, develop backward and forward linkages. If you don't have the time to do that on a daily basis, even the information that you're collecting beyond a point will not help you, especially when you have to write. If I have to write an answer, what do I need to know? Who exactly is Mother Teresa? She came to India in 1929. For a few years, she was very happy working as a nun and working as a teacher. Then, in 1943, they say that she had gone for a trip to Darjeeling. For some work, she had gone to Darjeeling. When she was coming back in a bus, she was looking out of the window. That is the time the Bengal famine was going on. She saw people dying of hunger, dying of starvation, small children who had been dried up to their bones. And for the first time, she saw exactly what poverty, destitution, hunger looks like. And even then, the change will not come immediately. What we had discussed in one of your classes recently, that if you want to bring about meaningful changes, they will take time. In 1950, she creates the Missionaries of Charity. Who's Missionaries of Charity now? They are an organization which provide free aid and free care to the destitute, regardless of your background. Which religion, which caste, which nationality you are, doesn't matter. And how do I know that they are doing commendable work? Because they have 758 missions in 9 countries. Now, many people say that if you do the right thing, if you're ethical, if you're moral, you will not get any benefits. In fact, you'll have to suffer. And what is the correct understanding? That people who are ethical, people who are doing the right thing, often they don't care about what they will get in return, but one way or the other, something good will come back to them. If you look at her, for example, she won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979 and the Bharat Ratna in 1980. So tomorrow, if I ask you a question in ethics, saying that ethics are antithetical to practicality, if you know this last piece of information, you can use that there also. But this information I can study, I can understand, I can use in the exam, not that newspaper article that I just looked at. Which is why we say that when you're preparing also, the questions you people ask, sir, where do I get content from? Can I get content from the newspapers? Can I look for examples? Yes. But please ensure that you organize it. If I say that Mother Teresa is an example of compassion, why are people not compassionate? And please give some terms. What is the reason many people lack compassion? The bystander effect, dehumanization, just world hypothesis. Whatever that means is separate. Now, what solution can you give here? What recommendation can you give? Number 1, the realization of interdependence. Number 2, the golden rule. Number 3, situational attribution. And you must have 5 or 7 examples with information, with specifics. 5-7 examples which I can write in the essay, where I think I'll be able to do a satisfactory job. This is why I say for any student over here, when you are collecting information, you're reading books, GS, optional newspapers, whatever you're going through, just reading something is not enough. Ensure that you organize it also. One more article, I clicked a photo. That day, in fact, I found only 2 articles which I could say were outside of theory. This is India and its healthcare system, the findings of the latest NSS on health, National Sample Survey on health. Now here I have underlined some parts here, some parts here, some parts there, and some parts there also. Roughly about 30% of the article I have underlined. These parts are important. Now these parts, what are they telling you? They're telling you what percentage of women, healthcare we are talking about, what percentage of women at the time of healthcare, at the time of giving birth to a child, have a health attendant with them. It's telling you how many people in India, when they go for healthcare, they're not supported by the government. They have to pay out of their pocket, out-of-pocket expenditure. It is telling you how insurance is increasing in the healthcare sector, but it is still far low compared to what we want. I have this information. Let's say I take all of this down and I write it on a piece of paper. Good. How do I use it? To use it, I still need to know first. I need to organize it in my head that if I talk about healthcare, what are your problems in healthcare in India? Number 1, affordability. Number 2, accessibility. Number 3, lack of support by the government. Number 4, medical ethics. Number 5, malpractices. I need to organize it. This information, if I want to organize, I'll have to go one step. I don't need data. Data will not help me. Data which leads to a point, data which leads to a thought, that is what I can write in my answers. So over here, how do I organize it? Accessibility. The National Family Health Survey estimates that in the top 20% of India's households, top 20%, 95.5% of births are attended to by skilled birth attendants. But if you look at the bottom 20%, the number falls to only 64%. What does that mean? A huge difference between haves and have-nots. People like you and me, coming from India's middle class, by God's grace, we have food in our stomach, we have clothes on our back. So if tomorrow in your family, there's a family member giving birth through someone, you can't even imagine that there will be no doctor around. You can't even imagine that the lady will not be in a hospital or a clinic. But for 64% of India's poorest 20%, they can't even imagine that. Second thing that we need is affordability. Niti Aayog in a report in 2024. Now you can't say Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog when? Niti Aayog said what? Who did it say it to? So Niti Aayog in 2024 stated that every year 7% of India's population, which is about 10 crore people, 7% of India's population falls below the poverty line because of very high out-of-pocket health expenditure. Why are people needing to spend so much money out of their pocket for healthcare? You need an operation, you need a test, whatever you need. Why are you spending out of your pocket? Because we don't have institutional support. Now, when you say the government is not taking appropriate steps for healthcare, my immediate question will be, how do you support this? On what basis are you saying this? You can't criticize. Now someone says that, sir, if you look at India's GDP, we spend 1.9% of our GDP on healthcare. And if you compare it with other countries, in the US, how much are they spending? 18.3%. In China, how much are they spending? 6.7%. The global average is 6.5%. What is the target of India's national health policy? 2.5%. We are not even aiming for such a big target. We are just aiming for 2.5%. And even that we are not able to meet. Now, when you say that healthcare, most importantly, needs the support of government institutions in the form of increased funding, I completely agree with you. But this I will get if I have my data or if I have my content which has been organized. I need more money for healthcare. How will you get it? Please ensure that you give affordable health insurance or free health insurance to as many people as possible. Please promote tax-based financing of healthcare. Now, when I say take taxes, increase taxes and a part of taxes, divert them directly to healthcare, students will say this doesn't happen anywhere. So I need to give you an example. What example will I give you? Number one, the National Health Service in Britain. Number two, Medicare in Australia. From India, most recently, what example can we give? Ayushman Bharat. If you have, and all of this has to be written in one place, otherwise when I revise, I might remember one or two words, one or two facts, but I will certainly not be able to use them simultaneously. This is why we say, for precisely this reason, this is why we say that many students, why do they take their essay casually? They think that if I'm reading, I'm going through a couple of good videos, some good blogs I'm going through, I'm reading the newspapers every day, I think I'll be able to do well. And those are the problems that you're likely to face. Yes, worst of all, over here, which has become a very, a very dangerous trend for the last 4-5 years after COVID is this one. Every now and then a student will come. This one boy, morning I was taking the same workshop with another set of students. This one boy came and told, he showed me on his tab. He said, sir, this is some boy who got a good rank 1 or 2 years back. He's written an article or something saying that when you write an essay, your essay should be like a U. I said, what does that mean? He said that, sir, this topper is saying you should start from here, then come here, and finally conclude with a U. I said, but what does that mean? He says, sir, that is what I'm asking you. Please explain. I said, I have no idea. I said, that is one. And I'm not saying that whoever wrote that article, it did not work for him. Must have been something that he devised, some way that he was writing. Now, what his background is, what his writing abilities are, I have no idea. Will this work for every student sitting in this room? Probably not. Many students, what do? They pick up toppers' copies. Last year, someone got a good rank, got good score in the essay paper. I will read their essay. When you read the essay, what happens? Everything seems very easy. That girl, that myth of Sisyphus I was talking about, Albert Camus, rolling up a stone and all that. You read it, it sounds very easy. Sounds like a very interesting story. If I tell you, write it down right now, many students will not know what to write. They know the story. They don't know how to start. They don't know how to connect with the topic. And they don't know how to develop that story. And this is not just for essay, GS optional anywhere, till you put pen on paper, till you struggle to write yourself. You'll see this in about 5 minutes. I'm going to give you a little bit of work. Till you do not do it on your own, high probability you will not reach the level that you're expected to reach. All year long through their preparation, till many students, till they clear their first prelims or give their first good prelims, they don't take up this paper. As a result, what happens? They don't have direction, they don't have discipline, and there is no accountability. What do you mean by lack of direction? I don't know what I'm doing. Every now and then, today my friend says there's an essay workshop happening, let's go there. I also realize I'm not feeling sleepy, it's okay. Let's go to Vajiram and sit for 2 hours. He comes and sits down over here. Next time that you pick up something, when will that be? I have no idea. Let that guy take another workshop. Maybe I'll go that day if I'm in the mood. If there's an IPL match, he's saying, yes sir, exactly. IPL match starts at 7:30, that is why I'm sitting here. Otherwise, I'll come here, otherwise I will not. Number two, there is no discipline, there is no consistency. Even if I assume that you people are from R5, R6, you've been here for about 2 months. And these students online who were saying that, sir, I'm from P1, P2, J1, J2, whichever batch you're from. Now, please tell me, in the last 2 years that you've been here, have you written one essay? And I assure you, for many students, the answer will be not even one. Not that they didn't want to. Every now and then, the thought came. But there is no one enforcing discipline on me. And there is no accountability. If you write something very, very bad, what bad also means, I'll show you after some time. Even if you write something bad, nobody will question you. Nobody will scold you. Nobody will motivate you. As a result, what happens? In 2 simple words, marks are bad. Poor marks. If this, and this is a full 250 mark paper, once again I'm repeating, in this paper, what is required? Students who get good ranks, they usually identify this. They realize that number one, morning workshop, you people are hardly asking anything. Morning, those people ask me a lot of questions. Someone asked me, sir, should I read books to, improve my language, improve my content? Should I read books? Can you tell me 3 good books for this exam for students like these people? Any 3 books, in your opinion, which students like you should read? Great people, have you heard of books? Have you heard there's something called books? Tell me 3 books which, if a student reads, it will help him or her in this exam. He's saying yellow books, not those books. Normal books, yes. Yeah. Sorry? Lexicon, ethics. Okay, let me, three, what should I call them? Not books, I will not call them books also. 3 novels you should read. Non-fiction books you should read. Annihilation of Caste, B.R. Ambedkar, number 1. How big is Annihilation of Caste? How many pages roughly? 20, 30 pages or 480? I think a little more than 400. The foreword is also included. If I ask you to read a 400, outstanding book, Annihilation of Caste by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, let's say it is about 400 pages long, you read this book. When you finish reading the book, how long will it take you? You have 1 or 2 classes every day. My opinion is this will take you minimum 2 to 3 weeks. If you want to understand also what is written. After 2-3 weeks, what will you learn? 2 things. One, that untouchability is a very serious problem in India and untouchability is wrong. And number 2, you will learn that untouchability deserves to be fought, deserves to be eradicated. More than that, it's a very powerful but also very disturbing book. He'll tell you how exactly or to what extent people are discriminated against in India on the basis of caste. But from here, what do I write in my exam? I'm not really sure. Maybe 1 or 2 sentences here and there, maybe a quote I will get from there, but that you can already get. A student who clears this exam realizes that everything has to be done keeping in mind the cost-benefit analysis. I will read a good book. You read India Unbound. You read India Grows at Night. You read, what is that called? The Difficulty of Being Good. They're good books for you. But it will take a lot of time. I need content which is given to me in a defined manner, which I just need to study and then I can start writing. Second, these students realize that I need regular writing practice and very often I don't have the discipline. The only way I will get discipline is someone tells me and makes me write on a regular basis. And third, after I write, there should be someone reliable, someone dependable who also evaluates what I'm writing. And if I'm not improving, whoever you are, whichever batch you're from, if you're asking a question which you were asking 6 months back, it means you have not studied. The day your batch started or 6 months after your batch started, if you had this question in your mind, how should I make notes from the newspaper? 3 months later or 6 months later, if you're still thinking about the same question, it means you have not put in the efforts. And this usually we are not able to identify in ourselves. We need someone else to tell us that whatever you're doing is not good enough. These things you should change. These things you should completely abandon now. Which is why we say that if you want to do well, three things that any student who clears this exam knows about essays. And if you want to write well, if you want to get a good score, there are just three things that you need in your essay, three fundamentals that you need in an essay. Number one, a correct and a sensible understanding of the topic. Number two, good content which is diverse and where you're not repeating yourself. And number three, a smooth flow when you are writing. Let me start with the first one. What do you mean by sensible understanding? That when a topic is given to you, just give me one moment again, let me go back. Out of these topics that are given over here, what many students are uncomfortable with, philosophical topics, quote-based topics. Out of these 8, how many of them are not philosophical topics? There are 8 topics given here. Which of them is not philosophical, not quote-based? I think maybe the second one. Maybe the second one you can say is related to IR at most. Otherwise, maybe all 8 of them are. When these kind of topics are given to you, first most important requirement is that your understanding should be correct. It should not be very different, should not be very radical compared to what the rest of the people are thinking. And how do you develop this? For this, first, more importantly, you will need practice. And second, in the initial phases at least, you will need the correct guidance. To understand what sensible understanding of the topic implies, now let me give you a little bit of work. Whether you are sitting offline, whether you are sitting online, now when I give you the work, don't think too much. Don't think about other students. Put pen on paper, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. Put pen on paper and do the work that I'm giving to you. Alright, small work. This is a topic from last year's paper. The best lessons are learned from bitter experiences. And the work for you is, please write down 3 points. Whatever you feel like writing, but please write down 3 points on what you understand about this topic. Three points. And these online students, it'll be a little more difficult for you. But if possible, whatever you're writing, please put it in the chat box so I can know that you're also on the right lines. And whatever you're writing, please remember 2 things that I don't need over here. Number 1, I don't need quotes. I don't need someone else's thoughts about the topic. I want your thoughts. What do you think? And number 2, please don't give examples. Examples everyone will be able to give. Here first, I need your ideas, your understanding of the topic. Alright, any 3 points you can think of. Will there be an essay batch after prelims 26 result? My dear friend, you write 3 points first. That you worry about later. First, do this work. You see single, you've just given 3 examples. Examples are fine, my dear friend. You tell me first what you think about this topic, what you understand. What? Yes, people. 3 sentences written, 3 points, 3 thoughts, whatever came to your mind written. Okay. Now let me start with this part over here and let's see how you understood this. By the way, from the topics last year, I think was the simplest topic of the 8 that were given in last year's paper. Best experiences are learned from better experiences. Best lessons are learned from better experiences. When I read a question or when I read an essay topic, what is the first thing that I should do? I should first understand what are the important points. What are the important words? What exactly is the focus of the question or the topic? Now, over here, number 1, we learn from bitter experiences. Number 2, the lessons we learn from bitter experiences are not just lessons, they are the best lessons. This much I've understood. Now, to understand it further, who should I start with? Let me start with some offline people. Yes, please tell me 1 or 2 points. What does this topic mean to you? What do you understand from it? No, I know what to write. The answer has to come from some of you. Yes. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Whatever you've written must be fine.
Learn from mistakes.
Sorry? Learn from our mistakes. Okay, let me just change what he's saying. First question that I would want someone to answer for me is, what do you mean by a bitter experience? What is a bitter experience? What is a bit? And when you answer, please don't use too many words. Don't give lengthy sentences. Try to be as precise as possible. When I ask you what are bitter experiences, if possible, please give me 3 words. 1, 2, 3, where all the students agree with you that what you're saying is actually a bitter experience. Please give me 3 words. Sorry? High opportunity cost. Okay, fine. Number 1, bitter experience, that something is a high opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. Fine. To some extent, I agree with you. What else? Okay. So just say difficulties. What else? What is a bitter experience? Sorry? Cost, effort mismatch. Similar to the first point that boy said. Uncomfortable experience. Uncomfortable experience, give me in slightly better language. Okay, here, let me choose some of their words also. Can I write the word tragedy over here? Can I write the word failure over here? What else? Adversity over, sorry?
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable, good or bad? I had an unforgettable experience in Goa last year. But that could be very good or that could be very bad. He's saying, yes, sir, me too. Okay, something, adversity, challenge, failure, setback, whatever it is, a negative word. That is what you call a bitter experience. Yes.
Value of time.
Value of time. That is what that first boy was trying to say. High opportunity cost. If you're doing this, many other things you're losing, many other things you're missing. Blind trust. I think you're getting a little romantic now. But bitter experience, blind trust. Okay. Error in judgment, let me call it. Error in judgment. Fine. This much I've understood. Bitter experience, something bad for you, where you had to suffer, where you had to lose something. This much I've understood. Second, what is the second thought? 3 thoughts, just 3 ideas I want. Little bit about the topic I've understood. This is the bitter experience. What else?
Life is a continuous journey.
Life is a continuous journey. Okay, that is in the nature of a quote. Quote I don't want. Yes. Will affect you or will teach you? Because we are talking about lessons, so my question to you is, how will they teach you? You will give time for introspection. Why will I introspect? If there's a bad experience, I'll feel bad. Why should I introspect? Because I don't want to repeat it in the future. See, this is what I was telling the GS batches yesterday, day before. And here also you will notice, when we are discussing this now, what these students say, their thought process is absolutely right. They're on the right lines. What is their problem? They need 2, 3, 4 questions. I'll ask them something, then they'll give me another answer. By the 3rd or the 4th time that I speak with the student, what they're saying becomes absolutely perfect. Problem is that in the exam, you don't have these 3, 4 opportunities. Get to the point as quickly, as directly as you can. Why will I, if there's a bitter experience, a failure, a challenge, a problem, why will I introspect about it? I don't want to repeat it in the future. Okay, what else? Please raise your hand. I don't know who's speaking. Our values and experience. What about my life itself? My life could be threatened. Let me see what these people, because it has a lasting, because it brings, now this is simple language in your language, because it forces you to leave your comfort zone. Now, How does this teach you? Number one, it teaches you now its comfort zone. Whenever there's a bitter experience, your survival or your well-being is adversely affected. What is a bitter experience for a student? There's a student who joined Vajiram in 2024, studies for 2 years, studies very seriously for 2 years, gives the prelims this year. In the prelims in GS, how much is that boy getting? 137. But he fails the prelims. Why? Because in CSAT, he got 23 marks. Why did he get 23 in CSAT? His maths was weak, but he did not study maths at all in the last 2 years. This lesson now will stay him for a very long time. Next year that he's studying, what do you think he'll give a lot of time to? He'll give a lot of time to maths. Why? Because your survival, your well-being is being threatened. You have to step outside your comfort zone. A pleasant experience will not be able to teach you this. By the way, the topic does not say lessons, it says best lessons. Why are best lessons coming from bitter experiences? You can learn from a bad experience, that I agree. Why are these lessons the best? They're not lessons, they're the best lessons. Why are they the best?
They have sustained.
You can learn from good experiences also, from pleasant experiences also, but these lessons are the best. Why?
You get to know about the short term.
Because they teach you what your shortcomings are. Okay, what else? Because there is a, sorry? Because there is hope. Because there is hope. Let me change your language a little bit. Number one, because they teach you what your shortcomings are. And number two, because you learn that if you have to overcome these shortcomings, if there's any hope that you will not suffer similar problems, similar experience in the future, you will have to improve. You will have to become better. Now, yes. Sorry? One more time. It teaches you what your values are. Okay, yes, absolutely yes. They develop your determination. They develop your resilience. They develop courage within you because you don't have a choice. If the experience is bitter and if you're not able to improve yourself, if you don't have stronger values, this exam that you're giving, does it require hard work or does it also require patience? Patience. How does it require patience? Not in the sense that you will fail many times. I hope all of you pass in the first attempt itself. It teaches you patience because anything that you want to learn will not come suddenly. There's a student over here, let's say this girl over here is from a background of law. She's very uncomfortable with geography. She doesn't understand geographical concepts. What does she have to do? Patiently give geography 3 hours a day, every day for about 2.5 months. Within 2.5 months, most of your problems, most of your lack of confidence will melt away. But it needs that patience. Now, I have spent about, I would say, 5 or 7 minutes on the discussion. Online students said something, you people said something, and this is what I've written. I started getting a rough understanding of what this topic is about, yet the understanding that I have right now is not good enough to write an essay. If you ask me to start writing now, I'm still not very clear. It's a vague picture, hazy picture I have in my mind. If I want a slightly more concrete understanding, a slightly more clarity in my understanding, now I will break this down into 4 parts for you. And now hopefully you people should be able to get to the answers directly and concisely. 4 simple questions. Online people please type, offline people please speak and give me the answers. What are bitter experiences? Please give me 3 words. What is a bitter experience? What you just told me some time back. Number 1, failure. Number 2, troubles. Number 3, challenges. Number 4, setbacks. Number 5, tragedies, and so on. Any 2-3 words please use to understand what a bitter experience might be. Number 2, understand the question correctly. Not what. How do we learn from bitter experiences? What I learn is what that boy was saying. You learn to identify your qualities, your skills, your values. You learn to improve them. That is what. I am asking you, how do we learn from these experiences? Sorry? Interest? Introspection. Why do you need to introspect? Again, my question over here is how? You can learn from a pleasant experience also. You learn better from bitter experiences. Why? By practicing. Because they hit our mind harder. Correct? Why do they hit your mind harder? Pleasant experiences you don't remember. Unpleasant experiences you remember for longer. Why? Because
Because of the suffering.
because of the suffering. Because there is pain. Because there is suffering. Because there is a threat to your survival. And we would want to avoid all of this. We would want to avoid it now and we would want to prevent it in the future. That is how we have to learn from a bitter experience. Number 3, why do we not learn from pleasant experiences? I know you learn from bitter experiences because your survival is being threatened. You're going through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. You're feeling very bad. I will learn. Why do we not learn equally well from pleasant experiences? Because it is in our comfort zone. That's very similar to what we said. Please change a little, improve a little. They are forgettable. Why? Because we enjoy it. Okay, fine, yes. In very simple language, you're giving a sensible point. Pleasant experiences are enjoyable. So,
They don't take us about your thing.
because there is no need to think, there is no need to improve. If you just maintain a word that one of these online students had written some time back, if you just maintain the status quo, whatever you are, remain the same for the next 6 months, even then there will be no problem, there will be no difficulty in your life. As a result, we don't learn. And the most important question, why are lessons from bitter experiences the best?
So for that.
Because they force you to self-evaluate, they compel you to improve, they compel you to transform. Now this I am doing here with a batch full of students, many people online, many people offline, and these are some things you people said which I wrote over here. In the exam hall or in a test series, this work I have to do on my own. And when I'm doing it on my own, what is the first thing that we need in an essay? Sensible and correct understanding of the topic. And when you're giving an understanding of the topic, be as precise as you can. Number 1, what are bitter experiences? 3 words I will use here: tragedy, failure, threat to survival. Number 2, how do we learn from bitter experiences? We learn from bitter experiences because our survival is threatened. We are compelled to step outside our comfort zone. And what that boy over there was saying, this will test our determination, will test our resilience, will test, most importantly, our ability to adapt. Whatever your qualities are and whatever your shortcomings are, if you're not willing to work on them, if you're not willing to modify and transform yourself, high probability similar bitter experiences will keep getting repeated in the future. Number 3, why do we not learn from pleasant experiences? Because there is no challenge, because there is no adversity, because the outcome matches, sometimes exceeds the effort. What do you mean by outcome matching? That whatever effort you're putting in, you're getting exactly the same thing back in return. Sometimes you put in less effort and get better results. What is that called in everyday language? Luck. That I thought that I had not prepared very well in GS. I thought CSAT I will pass, GS I'll get 70-75 marks. But 4 or 5 questions came in the exam which verbatim I had studied at home. And suddenly my marks shoot up by 10 or 12 marks. Here, when that is a very pleasant, very happy experience, I will not. What should you be worried about? That when you went to the exam hall, there was a high probability you will fail. Even if you passed, now where are you going to struggle? You're going to struggle in your mains. Because the same concepts, the same subjects will be checked there also. And number 2, there is no need to improve. You just need to maintain the status quo. 4th, why are lessons or from bitter experiences the best? Because they force us to identify the root cause of the problem. It is not enough. Many of us in India, when we face a problem, what do we focus on? The cause or the symptom? Often, we only think about the symptom. We completely forget the cause. When you go through bitter experiences, they force you to identify the root cause. This will help us discover what our capabilities are, improve our capabilities, improve how we respond to similar situations in the future. This now, I have done this largely on my own, and this has taken me about 3.5 minutes. Now I can say that to some extent, when I start writing this essay, if you make me write, I will be able to tell you how we learn from good and bad experiences, why we don't learn so much from good experiences as we learn from bitter experiences, and I will be able to explain to you why our learnings from bitter experiences are often the best. Number 1, a correct and a sensible understanding of the topic. Second thing that you need is good content. What is good content? Not content or information that you have, like I was showing you earlier with healthcare, with Mother Teresa. Not just content that you have, but content that is ready to be used in an essay. Content that is organized in such a manner that it is easy to study, easy to memorize, easy to revise. And it must address the common themes. What are the common themes in the essay paper? Number 1, healthcare. Number 2, education. Number 3, women. Number 4, science and tech. Number 5, environment. Number 6, international relations. And what is most common these days? Philosophical essays or these quote-based essays. Whatever content you're collecting should be relevant and should be useful for writing the themes that are being asked in recent days. Now, to understand what that content means, this newspaper and all, let me not get into. I've already explained. Let me give you a small piece of work over here to understand how you develop content, how you write the content down. This is your topic. Hopefully you understood what it means. Now the work for you is, in your register, whether you're online or offline, please make this table. And in that table, please write down 5 examples that you think would be relevant for this topic. But along with those examples, fill up the entire table. Whatever example you're writing over here, what is the bitter experience? What is the lesson that you've learned? And then what was the result? The result here, should it be positive or negative? Positive. If you learned a lesson, it should be something good. And before you start, then when I was taking this workshop, there was a girl sitting there. What example had she written? She had written that, she told me that, sir, I am from Odisha. She said in 1990, there was a very bad cyclone in Odisha. What is the bitter experience? Many people died. Property was washed away. Villages were destroyed. What is the lesson learned? That we are underprepared to deal with any such natural calamity. And what is the result? They started preparing. In 2013, when another cyclone hit Odisha, the government and the people were far better prepared to deal, and this time the damage was significantly less. Example and what I've written here is not important, but have I been able to fill up all 4 boxes, all 4 parts? In this manner now, please write down 5 examples and ensure that you fill up the entire table. Alright, any 5 examples you want to. Sir, are marks cut for grammatical mistakes? Not really. Yes, you write something where you're making a lot of spelling mistakes. Basic use of articles is not correct. Repeatedly, your language seems to be very, very incorrect. Maybe you lose some marks, but it is not a major concern for you people. Some student online had asked me some time back, sir, which book should I read to improve my grammar? What is the best book for English grammar? Renan Martin. How big is it? About 500 pages. And even if you read it in a span of 2 or 3 months, will it significantly improve your grammar, your spoken or your written English? No. You just read the right books, read your newspapers, study. For now, that will be enough for you. Sir, I sometimes misinterpret these philosophical topics. How can I overcome this issue? In one word, practice. That's why I said, how do you develop a sensible understanding? Practice and guidance. If you're going wrong somewhere, you need someone to tell you, in this topic, what is important? The word best. You have to explain how that is best. Yes, people. 5 examples written. 3 examples written. You're not talking to me anymore? Written, about 3 examples written? Okay. Let me start with these online students, then I'll come here. Someone was asking me, can we write in headings and under bullet points or something? You're asking me. Answer is no. Please remember, the essay paper is not only a test of your content, it is also a test of your expression. So if you have a question, can I write in points? Can I use bullet points? Can I write under headings, subheadings? Answer is no. You will write in flowing paragraphs. Alright. Now, let me start with their examples and I'll come back to you. Who is this person? Anjali Sharma. Any student, let me just see here. COVID North-South divide, over reliance on. Okay, fine. Example is COVID. Bitter experience, the divide between the global north and the global south. What is the lesson that you learned? What is the lesson learned? It is very important to develop indigenous capabilities, of manufacturing or research. I'm not sure, but okay, I'll give you that much. What is the result? PM Maitri. PM Maitri. Was that called PM Maitri or Vaccine Maitri? I think that is called vaccine. Have you heard of Vaccine Maitri? Under Vaccine Maitri, how many countries received free vaccines from India? How many countries did we deliver free vaccines to? 25, 35, 40? Answer is about 112. 115 countries we gave free vaccines to, but I'm not completely convinced. Example is COVID. Bitter experience was the divide. Vaccine Maitri does not seem to be the result. And I don't think we developed the research, but okay, at least you made that effort. Let me just read a few of these online people first. School. I wrote the ND exam. I was medically unfit. Did not have a second career option. Don't put all the eggs in the same basket. Okay, fine. But see, someone asked me a little while back, can we give personal examples? Answer is no. Who's this? Eli Shri Chandra. BOP crisis. Okay. Balance of payment crisis 1991. Okay, this seems to be promising. What is a bitter experience? Bitter experience being relevant and flexible. Bitter experience. What is a bitter experience? Severe restrictions on your trade and your economic sovereignty. What is the lesson that you've learned? What is the lesson that you learned? Sorry? No, economic reforms will be the result. Economic reforms will come over here. What is the lesson learned? That unless until you reform, your growth rate will not increase and your dependence on other countries, your vulnerability to other countries will always exist. Okay. Why is it important for you to fill up the four boxes over here? If you notice, even with these two examples that I'm taking, first example, I am not very confident about what is written in the last part. Second example, I'm not very confident about what you're writing here. It seems to be a repetition of the last part. And this is why we say that when you people start writing your paragraph, when you write sentences, that repetition stands out even more. Let me see a couple of more students over here and then I'll come to you people. Kacha roads, difficult to go during pregnancy for ladies, loss of mother. Don't give fictional examples. Don't give fictional examples. Okay, let me see a couple of these offline students. Yes, this boy here. Food security crisis. Food security crisis. Okay, let me just improve a little bit. Let me see PL 480. What is PL 480? The program under which we got subsidized wheat from the US. Now, what is a bitter experience? That if you don't have food grains or if you don't have agricultural self-sufficiency, what will happen? Even your diplomatic capabilities and your national sovereignty can be severely compromised. What is the lesson that you learned? Green revolution is your result. What is the lesson that you learned? That food security or agricultural self-sufficiency is very important. And what is the result then? The green revolution. Yes, that boy there.
Tiger population.
Tiger population. Tiger population increasing or declining? Earlier it was declining, now it is gradually going up. So which phase are you talking about? Okay, declining tiger population in India. What is a bitter experience? What lesson did you learn? Who are you, by the way? Government of India, people of India, or generally? You are the government of India. He's already, without getting the prelims, he's saying government of India. Okay. Bitter experiences, you realize that the tigers are about to go extinct. What is the lesson that you learned? That conservation is very important. And what is the result? Project Tiger. Dwindling or declining tiger populations. Okay, fine. To some extent, I still agree with you. What is a bitter experience? That they're about to go extinct. Okay. Not completely convinced, but I'll write it here nonetheless. Let me just look at a couple of these people also. Example, Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura. Okay, fine. Chauri Chaura incident. What is the bitter experience that you learned? Bitter experience that you went through. Violence killed. Okay. Use of violence. What was the lesson that you learned? Mass education is necessary. Mass education is necessary. No. No. Is it convincing? I am not very convinced. No. Okay. Okay. That boy there. Loudly. Hunger. Hunger. Okay. Let me remove all of these. Hunger. Bitter experience. Whose hunger? India's hunger or individual? India's hunger. India's hungry. Okay, fine. What is the bitter experience? And when you say hunger, when was India hungry? Right now or in the past? He's saying, I am hungry because lunchtime is going by and you're still keeping us here. No, I'm not convinced. Yes, that girl there. Okay. What is the DLR defection case? What is the bitter experience? Voter rights were not expected. Okay. Voter rights compromised. Lesson learned. Strengthen democracy. Result. Not very convincing. Not very convincing. I won't say wrong, but not very convincing. Who's got a good answer? What? 1 minute. Okay, yes. He is saying, he's putting his hand on his thigh. He's saying, you don't listen to me. I'm sitting in the first row. Climate change. Climate change. Example is climate change accelerating. Climate change. Okay. Bitter experience. Bitter experience. Bitter experience. Okay. Global warming. Lesson learned. It is very important to reduce the concentration of greenhouse gases. Result. That is ozone. Montreal Protocol. Okay. Let's say Kyoto Protocol, Paris Protocol. Fine. Best lessons are learned from bitter experiences, but bitter experience I'm not really been able to identify here. Let me change this and let me write climate refugees over here. Because of accelerating climate change, the number of climate refugees is increasing at a rapid pace, which is why we learned that it is very important to reduce the concentration of greenhouse gases that we are emitting. Fine. 1 minute, let me read what these people also writing over here. Global financial, one student at one time, global financial crisis. Anjali Sharma, I've seen some other student. Okay, Nasma Ansari, World War II, let's say, let's assume you're writing World War II. World War II, nuclear destruction. What is the bitter experience? Okay, atomic bombing in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. What is the lesson that you learned? What is the lesson that you learned? Build up of international. What is the lesson that you learned from Hiroshima and Nagasaki? She's not answered this very well, so you people tell me. Sorry. Nobody can win a nuclear war. Nobody can win a nuclear war. Better lesson. Nuclear disaster is? My dear friend, after this you have to tell me the result also. What is this bitter experience taught you what? Lesson learned. What is the lesson learned? That please make efforts to live in harmony. Please promote global peace. Please promote, please promote platforms through which there can be mutual dialogue, mutual mediation instead of opting for military action. And what is the result? Result over here, please say United Nations, the Bretton Woods twins. Then please put that over here. That now is the result. That I agree. Okay, last two students. Okay, he's raised his hand many times. Polio crisis, okay. What is the bitter experience? What is the experience? You are giving me a fact. What is the bitter experience? What is the bad experience? Many people had polio, so what is the problem? That it severely reduces the quality of your human capital and impairs people in their everyday activities as well as in participation in economic activities. What is the lesson that you learned? Eradicate polio.
Yes.
And what is the result? Pulse polio campaign. Okay, he's not wrong. That boy there, and then I'll come to the girl there. Online gambling. That's a very dangerous answer. How do you know about online gambling? Example, what is the bitter experience? No, there's a very negative, there's a very anti-social, illegal kind of an activity. So let me not write that there. Female feticide. Which female feticide? You'll have to give me a specific example. You're talking about a very big problem. What are you going to write here? Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. You people are just, confining yourself to government. People Antri village. You are giving my example back to me in the same class. Yes, what you're teaching us in ethics, let's write that here also. Last answer, let me read from here. There are too many hands that you're raising. I can't. Chirag Agarwal, 2004 tsunami 2004, last example I'm looking at. What is a bitter experience? Many people died. Learned we need proper disaster management. Result was NDMA. Yes, that I'll agree. India learnt a very bitter lesson because of the 2004 tsunami, and yes, we did create the NDMA framework. Now, as you people were speaking, some people have given many examples. Some of you I've smiled at you. Some of you have written what told me to write. Some I've modified a little. What is the point of the exercise over here? That if I actually had to make you write an essay, and I told you, please brainstorm, please organize your content, many of you will be able to give me 2 boxes that are sensible, 3 boxes that are sensible. Very few students so far have given me 4 boxes. All 4 boxes have said something that is well connected and that is convincing. If that is not convincing right now, if you try to write this as a paragraph, high probability somewhere or the other, your paragraph will not have the strength, the impact that it needs. 5 examples that we need, and some questions these online students were asking. I'll answer that along with this over here. Now, 5 examples. Number 1, example. When you say that now he's gone out, but this boy over here who is talking about hunger, that's a very general problem you're talking about. Please tell me a specific episode. So here I say Dashrath Manji. What is the bitter experience? The death of his wife. What is the lesson that is learned? That very often from government institutions you are getting apathy. So instead of merely complaining, merely waiting, start acting. Do something about it. And what does that lead to? The result was that he worked for 22 years. Everyone knows Dashrath Manji? To cut the mountain for 22 years to make healthcare accessible to all. Second example, Viktor Frankl. Who's Viktor Frankl? Is anyone aware? Yes. He was in the Holocaust. Viktor Frankl was a Jew who was captured by the Nazis, sent to a concentration camp with his father, mother, wife and brother. In the concentration camp, he saw many people die, including his entire family. What is the bitter experience? The Holocaust. In the concentration camp, what did Viktor Frankl learn? He learned that those people who were able to survive, everyone was seeing death and suffering, but some people were able to stay alive and some people mentally and emotionally gave up to such an extent that beyond a certain point, even their physical survival became impossible. He learned that people who were able to survive, why did they survive? Because they identified their purpose in life. That topic I was showing you earlier, those who have a why to live for can bear any how. Where is the statement from? This is one of the most famous statements from that very book that he wrote, Man's Search for Meaning. And what is the result? That he was able to survive the Holocaust. Third example, Alfred Nobel. Nobel, of course, everyone, what did Alfred Nobel invent? He invented the Nobel Prizes. No, he instituted the Nobel Prizes. What did he invent? Dynamite. Now, after inventing dynamite, he had become very famous, had become very rich. He went for a holiday for about 3 months. Now, that was a time when communication was not as good as it is today. And since he was missing for about 3 months, many people thought that he has died. They wrote an obituary in a newspaper. In the obituary, in remembrance, what did they write about him? That he is the merchant of death. When Nobel came back, when he read, he realized that this is how people will remember me if I die today. This was a very bitter lesson that he had to go through. And what did it teach him? It taught him that it is better to be remembered for doing something good. And that led to what? The institution of the Nobel Prizes. Today, in 6 fields, if you have done something remarkable for the human race, you will be honored. The ultimate honor that can be given to you is by felicitating you with the Nobel Prize. Fourth, the Indian economy. What some student here had said, what is the bitter experience? That for decades after independence, almost 4 decades, what was the problem in India? That time, what did we call our rate of growth? The Hindu growth rate, 3%, 3.5%. And what is the lesson that we learned? That it is very important for us to reform. And after the reforms, what is the result now? That today, we are a $4 trillion economy. And fifth, finally, the ozone layer. What someone over here was saying, this is that point. Ozone layer depletion specifically. What is the bitter experience? A growing ozone hole over the surface of the earth. What was the lesson that we learned? That 1 to 5 countries working together will not make a difference. This needs global cooperation. And what did that lead to? This was your Montreal Protocol, and that led to the reversal in the ozone hole. Now, 5 examples, 7 examples, 10 examples. More importantly, when you're writing this, don't write one example here, connect it with the topic, and what I was showing you earlier, add academic content, add academic terms. By the way, what a couple of these online students were asking, let me clarify that also. Can I write personal examples? Can I write fictional examples? Like someone was saying, what is that example? I don't know, let me not read also, let me come here. In the essay classes, in the ethics classes, I never tell students to go on YouTube. I never tell students to watch something here and there. Why? Because most of the people who are sharing information there don't have accountability and they say whatever seems to be simple. As a result, many students who write after watching those kind of videos make these mistakes. Most common mistakes. Students have this sort of conception in their mind that I should give recent examples. What example can I give you here? Yuvraj Mehta. Who's Yuvraj Mehta? He is the person, I think in January this year, who was driving a car in Noida at night. He took a turn. There was a ditch that had been dug for some construction work, fell into that, waited for 2 hours and died. You were aware of that case? If I did not say this to you, and I just asked you who's Yuvraj Mehta and kept quiet, I assure you about 80% of the batch would not know what I am talking about. Incident happened in January. I am talking in May. Mains is in August. In August, do you think whoever is evaluating your answer will remember the name? No. And yet students will say, if I check your registers, some such example would have come up in these registers also. What is the bitter experience? Death. What is the lesson? Please maintain your construction sites carefully and in a sensible manner. But maybe I will not be able to relate with it. Second, which is even worse, is fictional examples. There's some student here who written 4 fictional examples, name I've forgotten online, Sita Gita, Ram Sham, Mohan Sohan, those kind. And here what will they write? Simple story they will write, because someone has told them, you write a simple story which is related to the topic, you will get marks. And what will you write over here? Sita and Gita were best of friends. Sita gave her notes to Gita. Gita lost the notes. As a result, both of them failed in the exam. Sita felt very bad. And what is the lesson that you learned? Always keep a photocopy of your notes or always share only photocopy. It makes sense. It is logical. But who do you think is going to get more marks? Sita Gita or ozone hole? Without hesitation, the ozone hole. Even worse, people get romantic. They give personal examples. What is the bitter experience? Heartbreak. I knew someone, I really liked that person dumped me, ditched me, broke my heart. And what have I learned? Lesson learned, you must focus on your studies. Join the IAS. I've seen 4 or 5 Hindi movies also, that after you join the IAS, you can take revenge. Study. That boy is very happy for some reason. I don't know why. And then, of course, people say that you can give examples from movies. And what I'm writing here is this not mine. All of this I'm giving you, with the exception of the first one. There's some other example. This is what students have actually written in essays that they've shown to me. Then they say that I will write about movies. What is that movie? 3 Idiots. I think from there, Raju Rastogi. And the boy who wrote this essay very neatly, Mr. Raju Rastogi, was studying in Imperial College of Engineering. He had 2 friends, Farhan and God knows what this thing was. What is the bitter experience? He attempted suicide. What is the lesson learned? Nothing is more precious than your life. I agree. It makes sense. But do you really think that this will get you good marks? No. So what you're asking me, can I write fictional examples, personal examples? What has happened in your life will be, no doubt, is very important for you. But I will not be able to understand it. I will not be able to connect with it. First thing that you need to do good or to write a good essay, have a sensible, correct understanding of the topic. Number 2, second thing that you need is content, easy to revise, easy to organize. Third thing that you need is smooth writing. That when you're writing, one paragraph should flow. What do we say about an essay? That an essay, a good essay at least, feels like a river, where everything flows seamlessly. One part connects with the other without any abruptness, without any break. Now, couple of days back, 3, 4, 5 days back, within the last 1 week, I was taking a class, one of these R batches, I was taking a class and a girl came to me after the class. I was telling them that in essay and ethics, writing is a very important element in your success, your marks in these 2 papers. This one girl came outside and she used one word which I did not like at all. She used this word. She said, sir, I have a lot of fear when it comes to answer writing. She says, I don't know, but she said, I'm a serious student, I'm a good student, but sir, I'm very afraid of writing. Anytime I try to write an answer, I feel very uncomfortable. I don't think I'll be able to do justice. What is this called in slightly better language? This is called a mental block. And what I say to you in class, I'm saying here, all of you have finished your school, you finished your college, you at least must have given 2-3 years of your college you must have done. You have got good marks in your mark sheets. You have the ability. Yes, I will accept in front of you that this paper, this exam is different compared to what you've done so far in your life. But the only way that you overcome this mental block is how? Please write. Some students will need a little bit of hand holding. Every student will need compulsory writing practice. Where I know that once, this is one student of mine, this is his third attempt. First two attempts he's written the mains, both attempts he's failed the mains. Why did he fail both the attempts, both mains? His optional is Pol Science. And both times that he's given the exam, once he got 220, once he got 200 and again 220, 230, very low score. He called me up on Monday. He said, sir, I'm quite confident that I will pass the prelims. He said, there's a friend of mine who lives near my house. He lives somewhere in Delhi. And he said, my friend has no connection with this exam. But I have told my friend that from 1st of June, I will start studying. 1st of June, every evening by 5 o'clock, if you do not get one answer from me, history, geography, Pol Science, I will write some answer. If you don't get an answer, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. If you don't get it, call me up and demand the answer. And he says that, sir, this way, what happens is every day, no matter what, he won't even understand the quality of my answer. But I will have to write every single day. He says that at least I'll be able to revise my Pol Science syllabus and something or the other I will learn in the process. Now, everyone is not lucky enough to have a friend like this boy has. Either you will need, if you have a mental block, if you're not comfortable writing, either you'll need some hand holding, or on a compulsory basis, someone will have to tell you, will have to compel you to write. Second, what I was saying, how much time do you people get to write an essay? Total time? For 2 essays, you get 3 hours. For 1 essay, you get 90 minutes. Out of those 90 minutes, 60 minutes should be spent on writing, 30 minutes should be spent on brainstorming, planning, collecting your content. Students or some online people were asking me, how do I maintain a flow between different paragraphs? The flow does not come when you're writing. The flow is decided first when you're making a list of contents that you're going to write. If I have 5 examples, ozone hole, Alfred Nobel, Dashrath Manjhi, I need to understand how one of these thoughts or one of these points is connected to the other. Then I can develop that flow. 30 minutes you need to spend on brainstorming. If your brainstorming is not good, and this is what I tell every student in the essay class, that if your brainstorming itself is not good, high probability your essay will not go on the right track. Now, these are 2 students from last year's batch. I will not get into anything here. I will not even explain anything over here. But this is one student, his brainstorming. That is another student, his brainstorming. The table, the chart is the same. They both attend the same course. Simple question for you. Who do you think got more marks in this paper? Let me call this number 1. Let me call that number 2. Who do you think got more marks? Number 1 or number 2? Even looking, without reading a single word here, you can understand that this person probably will not do well. That one is 119. This one is 60 marks. Why? It's visible in front of you. If this person has not put in the planning, has not put in that hard work, when he starts writing, the same way that you can see, pen scratches here and there, words change here and there, that same confusion, that same lack of clarity, that same lack of flow will be reflected in his essay also. 30 minutes, 60 minutes if I tell you to write an essay, the speed with which you people write in your GS papers, in your optional papers, very comfortably, you'll finish the essay. But this part, you will have to focus on how you brainstorm, how you develop your content first before you start writing. And third, of course, develop some writing techniques. How do you generate interest in your essay? How do you address the topic? How do you transition from one paragraph to the other? And this is not something that I can give you in the form of 3-4 points that please remember these. This is something you'll actually have to write. Till you do not write, whatever I'm saying over here might sound good, will click, a light here or there in your mind, but it will not benefit you till you put pen on paper. And along with that, what you need, especially students who think that they will write their mains this year or next year, who think that they are going to pass their mains, you will need dependable, sensible, reliable evaluation. Because only when someone evaluates, will you be able to identify what is wrong with your attempt and where you need to change. Here also, I will not read anything, but this is some essay that I have evaluated. This is my handwriting. Now over here, I don't know who this boy is. How much has he got? 45. 45 out of 125. Now, if this boy looks at what you people do, you come to me after the GS class, you give me one essay, I look at it, I read it, I write some comments, and I tell you you're getting 45. You can feel enthusiastic or you can feel discouraged. But you will not be able to learn where exactly I'm going wrong, and you will not get that sense of satisfaction that at least something is right. Now, this boy, for example, he gets his sheet back. He realizes that in the introduction, I've given him 6 out of 10, which is a very good score. Now, what does he know? He knows that, yes, at least my essays are starting well. When he was reading my essay, he liked the beginning. The boy should also realize, if you're getting 6 on 10 over here, it means you're starting well. In the conclusion, I've given the same person 2. Which means, what do you think happened with this boy? I don't know. That only he will know. But my suspicion is by the end, this may be the second essay that he was writing. By the end of the essay, he lost track of time. He was not able to manage the time. In fact, this is the first essay. Then maybe he looked at his clock and he realized that I've spent 1 hour 35 minutes over here. Let me quickly finish it off because there's a second essay that is left over. Maybe he got bored. Maybe his interest went. Whatever happened, this boy for the next essay that he writes will be very careful that if I can start so well, if I need to end well, last 10-15 minutes of writing an essay, I cannot slack. I have to maintain concentration. I have to maintain focus. If I look at the interpreter, he's interpreted the topic very well. He's got 6. Again, whatever, let's say, I don't know which topic he wrote on. I can't see that here. But whatever topic he wrote on, he knows that I understood the topic very well. My understanding was very good. And yet, if I look at the quality of his examples, he's got only 2.5. Some example he must have written in the introduction also. Understanding is also right. You people, without any preparation, in 5 minutes were able to give me sensible examples. Why is this boy struggling? And that I think I've written also over here. You have given correct examples, but they were just listed. They were not connected to the topic. Now, on the one hand, I am telling this boy I'm not going to give you marks. On the other hand, he is also getting to learn that I know what it takes. My presentation needs to be improved. Examples are correct. I've given Chernobyl, I've given ozone hole, I've given Dashrath Manjhi. But since he could not see the topic anywhere in my paragraphs, that is why probably he's cut my marks. Unless and until I meet students who come here, I'll tell you the fact also. Most students who join the essay course are writing their second mains. Not their first, their second mains. And these students come and say that, sir, I wrote my mains last year also. My score was not good. Whatever the score was, 83, 87, 92, they say it was not up to the mark. And they say, sir, what should I do? So I tell them, you please get your answer sheets. You must have written some essays. Show them to me and let me see where exactly you need to improve. They get it back. Name of the institutes, name of the places I will not take. That's not in the right spirit. But when they get it, now this is what some student has written. What will I see in their answer scripts? What evaluation? 2 big tick marks in the middle. On every page, 2 tick marks. 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Somewhere in between, they will, like this part over here, lighten up. They will write this and they will just write that and put a cross over there. He's written somewhere 1897. The person will cut this and will say 1896. Honestly speaking, I don't care whether it is 1896, 97 or 98. I care that if you're using this example, are you using it in the right place, in the right manner? They will point out small grammatical mistakes. For example, somewhere in between, a student puts a colon and that person will put it over here, cut it, then over here will write, put a semicolon. Learn proper grammar, improve your grammar, improve your spellings. What someone was asking me, sir, does grammar matter? If the UPSC starts cutting marks for grammatical mistakes, the person who tops this exam, I assure you, right now the topper gets about 55% marks. That will fall drastically if marks were cut for grammar. What do you people need to be told? You need to be told, you need to be taught that when you're writing, how the same content can be expressed a little better. If you're writing about Mahatma Gandhi, don't waste time telling me where was Gandhi born, what was his family doing. You start by telling me that Gandhi was traveling in a train and when he was thrown out of a first class compartment, Gandhi identified his why. What is his why? To secure independence, freedom and dignity for every Indian. And this enabled him to bear many house that came in his life. But this you will be able to learn only if someone pays attention and takes interest in what you're writing. Which is why we say an equally important element in your scores is, again, how your scripts are evaluated. Keeping this in mind, because students ask me later, no, this is about when they're starting, when should a student join an essay program? Now, I don't know, again, your batches R1, R2, R3, R4. If your R9, R8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 started in the month of April. If you're 8, 9, 10, you are too early to join an essay program because you've not understood what this paper is about. Once you've had about 8, 10 classes on polity, 10, 15 classes on history, 5, 10 classes on geography, once you start understanding this paper, then you will benefit from the classes. If you're a first time student for this exam, after 3-4 months of GS classes, it would be the right time for you to attend. If there's a student here who's clearing the prelims and who's not practiced essay, honestly speaking, students meet me outside, sir, I want to do it on my own. How should I do it? Earlier, I would tell them that you go home, collect some content, write some essays, try to meet me again, and gradually you'll improve. About 2 years back, I realized that when I say this, they don't know where to collect content from. I myself say that getting content from the newspaper is very difficult. Then where do you get it from? Where do you get the theory from? They write at home, then they try to search for me. One day I have classes in the morning, one day I have in the evening, they can't find me. As a result, there is no continuity, there's a break, and very often it is the student who loses. If you have cleared the prelims and if you've not done an essay course ever, if you're not prepared for it, join immediately to get a good score. Don't take an unnecessary risk. If you're a student who's given the prelims but is not qualifying the prelims, between June and September, that gives you 4 months. Extended to October, 31st October, that gives you 5 months. Within 5 months, first finish your mains. And in the mains, the most important part of your preparation is your optional. Optional counts for 500 marks. This is one paper, one subject, where you can actually get depth in your preparation. In the optional papers, the difference between a student who gets 220 and 280 is evident if you speak to those students for 5 minutes. You speak itself and you'll be able to understand the depth. Along with that, 2 full papers, essay and ethics, these 4 papers put together are worth 1000 marks in the mains. These finish as quickly as you can. After that, October onwards or November onwards, shift to GS 1, 2, 3. Because with GS 1, 2, 3, gradually you'll start preparing for your prelims also. By January, switch over completely to the prelims. Alright, so which category you fall into, I don't know. You're passing your prelims, not given the prelims, first time that you're preparing for this exam. Whoever you are, understand how exactly this is going on. Alright, and in between that slide that had come up, since it was visible, let me explain. Let me share that. I think you already know. The essay module here at Vajiram is starting this Sunday on the 31st of May. It includes 11 classes, 10 handouts and 5 tests. Essay test series for students who have attended essay classes earlier or students who believe that I have good writing abilities. In that case, you can join a test series which starts on the 1st of June and which contains 4 tests. Alright. More importantly, this part over here, where is that gone? Just give me a moment. These 3 points, please remember when you take up essay. Correct understanding of the topic. Number 2, good content which is suitable for the essay. And number 3, maintain a smooth flow when you are writing. This is everyone clear. So if I'm doing option in GS classes, then and should I join an essay course? No, because it will be three things that you're doing daily. Any student, can you attend 3 classes every day? You will understand nothing in any one of them. If your optional in GS is going on, I'm assuming your optional will get over after 3-4 months. Then you please join the next course that starts in, let's say, the month of September. Alright. Can I send my essay in this email for checking, sir? I don't think so. Alright. Is everything clear? Done? Alright. Sir, essay or CSAT, which one should I join first? Great people, your questions you asked me. Which one should you join first? Essay or CSAT? First, please join CSAT. If you're not comfortable with that, then you join CSAT first. Alright, then here let me take a pause. Thank you very much.